Welcome friends to another Dune video. Today we're going to draw on the Dune Encyclopedia and in particular part the Canto Respondu. It is part of an ancient rite first developed by the Bene Gesserit, Missionara Protectiva, according to the Reverend Mother Gaius Helen Mahayam in her detailed notes on the history of the Bene Gesserit breeding program. It was the function of the Missionara Protectiva to develop on those planets upon which members of the sisterhood might have dealings with local mythologies, that they could use them if need arose. These mythologies often took the form of popular religions that sanctified the persons of the Bene Gesserit as prophets of some long-awaited Mahdi or Messiah. Such mythologies were manifested and kept fresh in the minds of these superstitious natives by rites known as the Panoplia Propheticus, which seems to imply that they were so designed to serve whatever needs a Bene Gesserit would have in a time of emergency. One example of this is recorded in the Redulian crystals discovered on Arrakis. The significant passage is part of a manuscript concerning the early life of Paul Muad'Dib and was recorded by Leto II, since Leto II is said to have within him the personalities and memories of all his ancestors. His description of the rite in which his grandmother, the Lady Jessica, participated has at some point been claimed to be accurate. What is recorded goes like this. Pressed on every side to justify to the Fremen her right to their protection, Lady Jessica put into practice her long-held belief that the Fremen had been visited by the Missionara Protectiva and ventured to lead the siege in the Panoplia Propheticus. Allowing the trance of deepest memory to take her consciousness, she began Ibn Kataber as far as where the dust ends, and then went on to recite a verse which began, "Mine enemies are like green blades eaten down, that did stand in the path of the tempest." The verse created an immediate reaction amongst the Fremen, and with the Lady Jessica clearly controlling the rite, it continued, "The fire of God mount over thy heart," she said. "The fire of God set alight," came the response. "Thine enemies shall fall," she said. "By La Kaifa," they answered. What seems to be described here is the invocation part of the rite, which scholars believe to be the Canto Respondu section. In effect, it establishes the right of the leader to partake of the Panoplia Propheticus, and when that right is recognized by the congregation, the speaker also wins a mystical standing within the community. Leto II also seems to imply in this passage that the Bene Gesserit planted some very powerful words within the Canto Respondu, which had a hypnotic effect upon those who responded and those who believed in those words. These words, combined with the superstitious awe of the respondents, appear to have successfully produced a trance in which the leader of the rite achieved almost godlike status in the congregation, thus in the hands of the Bene Gesserit, who would also have the power of voice at their command. The Canto Respondu must have been irresistible. The noted scholar Pierre has noted that ancient religion often used forms like the Canto Respondu to knit a congregation together in its faith. Given, however, the power of the Bene Gesserit and the heightened sense of community held by the Fremen, such ancient rites could have only been pale copies of what went on between the Lady Jessica and the siege, which finally adopted her as their Reverend Mother. And that, friends, with that intriguing example from the Panoplia Propheticus, we will end today's video.